What's up guys, Brennan here, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a piano tutorial for the song Runnin' Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. It helps me out as a small creator here on YouTube, and it also helps you guys out because then you don't miss out on any of my future piano tutorials, piano covers, and educational videos. And with that, let's get right into it. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and play the full arrangement that you're going to be learning in today's video. So we're going to start with the right hand intro part. You're going to have your fourth finger here on B flat, and then you're going to have your middle finger here on G, and then your thumb here in C. So it's going to go like this. And then that repeats, holding out the C, And then the third time, you do B flat, G, and then instead of C, you move down to B flat down here with your thumb. So it's going to be like, and then up to C. So it's going to be, and then you go with your thumb on B flat, pointer finger on C, and then third finger on D sharp, and it goes. So all together it's. Then you go to your fourth finger on B flat and your thumb on C, and you don't play the G, so then you go. And then that repeats. And then you go G, F, and then you skip down to D sharp, and then C. So that last section is repeat. And then in the left hand, we're going to be playing 3 chords. What a chord is 2 or more keys played at the same time. So this is a chord. This is the second one. The third one. Repeat. So the first one is pinky on G sharp, middle finger on C, and thumb on D sharp. All at the same time. Then you move to pinky on B flat, middle finger on D, thumb on F. Then you move to pinky on C, middle finger on D sharp, thumb on G. And then this one you repeat a second time. So practice that. Switch. Switch. Repeat. That repeats a few times. So all together, we're going to put both hands together here for section 1. So this starts at the beginning on its own, and then you come in the left hand. So you go. So you play the full right hand part, and then the left hand comes in. So it's switch. So between these 2 keys, B flat and C, is when you move to this one in the left hand. So it's da, da. So all together it's switch, switch, and then the C plays after it. I'm going to do it without talking just so you can see. And then you go. So da da da, and then you play the second one. Then the left hand, you go back to this one, switch, so all together, full speed, it's going to sound like this. So one thing to note here is, remember how you do this one twice? Well, the second time carries into the next part in the right hand. So I'm going to show you what I mean. We're going to go ahead and learn the next right hand part. So you have your thumb on G 3 times, and then you go up to third finger on B flat, and then you do G 3 times again, and immediately go down to C. So that's, and then you go, that's C, D sharp, D, and then you go B flat, C, so it's, now it quickly goes back and forth and has this kind of in the middle. So it's, and then it immediately goes to the next part. So it's this part again, then this repeats, and then you go, so that's thumb on G, and then it goes up to G sharp and B flat. So it's G twice, and then you go B flat, G sharp, G, F, F, D sharp. So it's, so you have to cross over here. So let's put this whole part together. And then you go thumb on C, and you go, so that's C, D sharp, F, D sharp. Okay, and then the left hand, you're going to be quickly moving between 3 chords again. It's going to be actually the same chords, you're just changing out the way that you play them. So again, you're going to have your pinky on G sharp, middle finger on C, thumb on D sharp. Then you go pinky on B flat, middle finger on D, thumb on F. And then you move up to pinky on C, middle finger on D sharp, thumb on G. And the way that you're going to do this is you're going to go up, down, see how I'm going back down? It's on like a little loop. So you have this one, done, done, back down, start over, bottom, middle, top, middle. Okay? So now we're going to put both hands together here. So remember that earlier chord we're ending on? You play that when you get to this key. So it's, so once you go to C, then you move to this section. So it's, tricky timing. The more you practice this, the easier this part's going to be. This is actually the hardest part of the song in my opinion, just because it's a little bit wonky on the timing. So just be patient with yourself, and the more you practice it, it will get easier. So it's this one, and then you go. And then you go. And then when you hit this key is when you start going back down on those 3. Hopefully that makes sense, but the best way to learn is just to watch me. So I'm going to do it nice and slow. I'm going to show you how to do it. So remember at the beginning, we're still doing this second one from the earlier section, right? So it's, when you go to C, then you go. That repeats. And then it goes. And then on the last one, instead of going up on the loop, you actually go back to the first one. So it's back to the first one. So I'm going to play it as slow as I can, but again, this is the trickiest part of the song. So here we go. each one of these sections, to keep in mind, carries on immediately into the next section. There's no pause in between. So that's going to take a little bit of getting used to, that's just the way the song is. So make sure to just practice that last section here as much as you can before moving on to this next section here. So then it immediately goes into this part, which is so that one, see how that was the one that we just ended in the earlier section? So this starts the new section. So I'm going to show you the right hand. So that's thumb on D sharp, and then you go up to B flat, so it's, and then down to G, so it's, and then you go, so it's D sharp and F, so it's, then that repeats a second time. Okay, and then the left hand, you change a little bit, but it's very similar to an earlier section. So you play this the same, pinky on G sharp, middle finger on C, thumb on D sharp. Second one's the same, pinky on B flat, middle finger on D, thumb on F. And instead of going up to this one, you're actually going to go down here instead, and you're going to play your pinky on F, middle finger on G sharp, and thumb on C. So those three are going to be hold it, then you repeat, hold it. Okay, so all together that section, we're going to put both hands together here. So this, now the left hand starts, and then you start the right hand, so it's, and when you go to G, this is when you move to this one, so it's, so it's, think of it as like coming in between. You go da, da, and then that repeats. So just to slow that down, remember the left hand starts here, so it's left. Left. Okay, then we get into the chorus, where it's okay, so in the right hand, we have, so that's thumb on C, fourth finger on B flat, and middle finger on G. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, G. So it's C, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. Then you go. So it's C, 1, 2, 3, 4, D. First you did G, right? So it's a little tricky. So from the top it's C, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. And then it goes C, 1, 2, 3, 4, D. So try that. And then you go. So that's, so all together it's, then you move your thumb up to D sharp, and then you do a similar pattern where it's, so that's D sharp, and then you do B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. Then you go C, 1, 2, 3, 4, D. C, 1, 2, 3, 4, G, B flat, C, G. Okay, so the only thing that you're changing from this part that we just learned is the thumb here. So I'm going to play it in full, and you can follow along with me. So here we go. Move your thumb. Then you have your thumb back up to D sharp, and you go, and then you hold that. And then you move your pointer finger down to F, and then you go thumb on D sharp, and you go back and forth between D sharp and F. So that last part is hold it, F, and then you immediately go to B flat, C, D sharp. So I'm going to play it in full. Okay, feel free to pause the video and practice that a bunch. Okay, then in the left hand, we're going to be doing these 3 chords again. Up to this one, up to this one. We learned these in an earlier section, okay? So you're going to do this one 3 times, this one 3 times, this one 6 times. Repeats. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that continues 3 times total. So now we're going to put both hands together here. So it starts off where you're playing the right hand first. So it's going to be. And when you switch to D, that's when you move in the left hand. Then you switch again. Switch. 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 Okay, so I'm going to play that without talking just so you can watch it nice and slow. Tricky, feel free to pause the video and practice that a ton. Then it goes back to an earlier section that we learned immediately where it goes. Difference is that I'm doing the same left hand as the last section. So the right hand's the same. Earlier I just played it once, right? But I'm doing the same 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, and the right hand you already learned. So let's put both together. So it's that we actually already learned as well. So I'm going to just slow it down so you can watch exactly how these two blend together. So it's play this 2 extra times. So then it goes. So that's going back and forth between G and B flat. So it's and then it goes, which is similar to the earlier part where it's B flat, G sharp, G, F, F, D sharp, so it's, and then it goes, just like we learned earlier, okay? The only difference is you're doing it 2 extra times here. So I'm going to play the full thing for you. To the earlier part where we go back down to this one and we go. Remember this part? It's the same. Now you do it an additional 3rd time. So then you go back and forth between that F and then this last chord here. That's repeat. Now, 3rd time's different. And then we go immediately into the earlier section that we learned, which is the chorus. Next part's the same. And now goes back to an earlier section. That's the tricky thing about this song is Kate Bush, she kind of like changes different parts and then adds in extra to earlier sections. That is just going to come easier with practice. I kind of had to listen to the song about 20 times to memorize this. So don't worry if you're not getting it right away. The more you practice this, the easier it should get. So then at this point, we go back to an earlier section where it's right, repeat. same as an earlier section where it's 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, repeat 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, 3, switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now the right hand is different. So you start with your thumb here on C and then your pointer finger here on C sharp. So you play it twice, and then your thumb and third finger switch to D and F. So it's, and then you go. So you play this one twice again, and then switch your pointer finger and third finger to D sharp and G. So try that all together. It's a little tricky. And then you jump up here and you go down 3. So it's thumb on G and B flat. Then you go thumb on F and G sharp. Then you go thumb on D sharp and middle finger on G. And then you go back to these two with your thumb on D and your pointer finger on F, and you play that multiple times. 3 times. And then you go back to this one twice. A little bit tricky, so all together it's. Then that whole thing repeats. Let's put both hands together here. So here we go. Remember, you're doing this 3 times. It's all you really need to think about. And the timing's a little bit tricky, so it's left hand first, and then the right hand comes in, and they kind of go back and forth like a seesaw to each other. So it's. Okay, then this last one, you go. So it's, let's go over this again from the top. It's. It's a little bit tricky. I'm going to try and slow it down as much as I can. Just watch me do it here. Part is a repeat of an earlier section where we go. Repeat. And then you're kind of just repeating different sections that we already learned. So then it goes into. that's how I kind of end it. So it's, and then I kind of fade it out right at that point. Okay, so now that we've learned each of the sections, I'm going to show you how it all fits together from one part to the next, putting each thing together now that we've learned all the sections. So here we go, starting at the beginning. Alright guys, and there you have it. That is the entire piano tutorial for Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely keep in mind that this is a bit of a tricky song, so it is going to take a lot of practice. I still don't have the song fully down myself, but I wanted to go ahead and film the video for you guys so that you could learn it, as I know it's popular right now with Stranger Things out. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section below, and I can definitely help you guys out. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my future content. Don't forget to create art, and I'll see you guys next time.